Welcome back. This is our second segment of 7 Minutes for Seniors. I am Chris. This is still Tyler. This is Seniors Helping Seniors. So, our second segment, talk a little bit more. How specifically, I know you went over kind of generally like transportation and stuff like that, companionship. Give me an example of how specifically you help a senior. Like, what, obviously you're trying to keep them out of the hospital, trying to keep them from falling, trying to keep them healthy and keep them in their home. Give me an example of how you help them.
Well, there's so many examples, I guess, when I need to choose one.
Yeah.
We have a particular client who has pretty very hard hearing, almost deaf, and has dementia, but a wonderful person,
Mm-hmm.
and his family has really come in and want him to maintain his independence. When we came and got involved, the doctor really called us. He had gone to a doctor's appointment, at 11, and then came back at 12 for the same doctor's appointment. So he didn't have a driver's license, but his whole life revolved around going, to the park, going to the mall,
Mm-hmm.
going to get chips at and going to eat. So when we came in, we really were there for transportation, to make sure that he still continues to do it, even though he doesn't have keys anymore to his cars. We will come in, make sure his house is taken care of, his laundry, his linens, cook him a meal. Actually, in the morning, he goes to IHOP every morning. So
Oh, wow.
we come pick him up, we go to IHOP with him, come back, and obviously his meals are a big portion. And, we want to make sure that people get out of their routine, or older people, and then they stop eating, they stop doing the things that they're supposed to, that they normally do, believe it or not, and then really see a decline in health, and as well as people coming out of a surgery situation, or going into the hospital for just a 2-week stint, or something like that, and they come out and it's almost as if they've changed their lifestyle, so to speak. It's really, so we have to kind of keep them on pace, make sure that they're getting food, because then you really start that kind of severe decline.
Oh, yeah.
But going back to this particular client, we have some men that work with them, and we do have the ladies, because the ladies are more attentive to his, to the cooking, of course, to the house.
Right.
The men are more camaraderie and making sure that he has someone to talk to. But we do his laundry, his linens.
Yeah.
We do everything. In a lot of cases, though, you've got people that just need us to come in and have mobility issues. A lot of that. So we're there. Either from a respite standpoint, taking care of somebody who's working, that family member that's doing 24/7, and then we're really monitoring that mobility and making sure that they don't have an issue, especially in the heat.
Yeah.
You start getting dizzy spells, or people not paying attention to their water intake and things like that, so they fall.
Yeah, you'd swear water was poisonous.
Yeah, it's odd. It's really odd to see that.
And how do you guys get paid?
It's really private duty.
Yeah.
We are contracted with the VA as well, but and we have some other partners in the area, but mainly private duty.
Okay.
Private pay.
Do you have a minimum?
A minimum of
minimum number of hours per day?
3 hours a week.
3 hours a week?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll come in just to help out. If somebody just needs us to come in and kind of help them set up for the week, or whatnot, minimal.
Now, given that I've talked to other in-home providers and they've spit out a number, are you comfortable spitting out? Are you comfortable telling us what your hourly rate is?
It can be anywhere from 25 to about 32.
Okay.
It depends on what we're doing, but also the amount of hours.
Okay.
If we're doing 24/7s and things like that, the rate's a lot lower.
You get the Costco discount.
Yeah, and
buying in bulk.
Yeah, and overnights, because we're not doing vacuuming when somebody's trying to sleep.
Right.
We have caregivers that are there and they are awake, but they're just helping out, so they're really not doing anything. They're not,
right.
So we will, we obviously heavily discount that.
Right. So who would be your ideal client?
Ideal client. Okay, I'll say that. It's a tough question, but we call it the brochure.
Okay.
So anyway,
all right.
Brochure client is somebody that obviously needs us from a standpoint of companionship and wants to be friends with, or needs somebody to be friends with. So the ideal client is obviously somebody that that is nice and,
Right.
and is really wanting to communicate and talk with our caregivers,
Hmm.
so that they can get the benefit as well. But um, uh, somebody who wants to get out of the house, somebody that wants to still continue to be active as much as possible.
Right.
That's kind of the ideal client. It really doesn't matter the duties and responsibilities that we
Hmm.
have to do while we're there, like cleaning.
Right.
I mean, it's that's great, because our people want to stay busy. They don't want to.
Go to somebody else's house to sit around and watch TV.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not there for that. And
Yeah.
we've lost a couple of people because they're, if there's, especially in the hearing scenario, if they don't communicate or they don't have that connection,
Yeah.
they don't really want to be, don't want to be there. And so it's got to go kind of, like I said, both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So,
interesting. The brochure client.
the brochure. And we
Yeah.
always say that. We're like, oh, that's the brochure.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, it kind of works for just about every business, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The brochure.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
And two older ladies will be a little bit younger, of course, but the older ladies getting together,
Hmm.
and then the men. I shouldn't even say that because we have men, and you go up there and you have a 90-plus-year-old man and you get to hear the war stories and the
Hmm.
history, and then you got the younger man at 50 who's really kind of learning a lot. And they're having a great time.
Yeah.
They're having a good time together, just chatting.
Getting an opportunity to learn from somebody.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
That's not related to you.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's got some history.
Yeah.
It's got some. So, and then of course it's the caregiver. The caregiver's got to get along and got to understand that. So that's really where the match is kind of made.
So now, who typically calls you?
Family and spouses
Yeah.
and self people, on their own.
They call out of the blue
Yeah.
of their own accord.
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting. That's recognizing that you have a problem and you need help,
Yeah.
which is a big deal.
Yeah, it really is, and the family is always I mean, I hate to say it, but everybody waits till the last minute,
Oh yeah.
and then you're kind of like you come in there and you're like, oh, okay, well, we got a lot to do here, and
Yeah.
um, hopefully they haven't waited too long,
Yeah.
So.
Seems like nobody wants to take the reins until the horse and the carriage is like careening down
Exactly
the side of a mountain in the
right. Like
dark.
in your business, it would be somebody who fell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and that's where we come in too, is because they've fallen. They're coming out of the hospital. They're coming out of a surgery situation. I've got 2 hip surgeries. One lady's coming out right now.
Yeah.
So we're going up there, and she's been a client of ours for a while, but has hip pain.
Yeah.
So she just got out of surgery. So you fall, and then it's not too late, of course,
Right.
but it is now. We're in a different element.
Yeah.
So when you get back home, so.
Awesome. Well, that's going to conclude our second segment. Tyler, thank you very much, and we'll be right back.